We're here with La Prensa and we're here with Peggy Vasquez from Hispanic Today. And Peggy, can you just tell La Prensa what's going on? What is this meeting about?
I think if you look at the history of the MACC and the history of the Mexican American community, it's been a history of constant fighting, constant trying to get something that the community can use. If you look at the building of the MACC, it took 25, 30 years. If you look at what happens to the MACC, every year there's a new developer or somebody wants to encroach on the property, and it's just constant. The MACC Advisory Board should be thinking of programs and possible funding sources to continue the second and third phase of the MACC, and not be listening to all these developers that come with nothing. The developer today wants to build a wall that's to his advantage, wants to widen the alley so his people can come in and out. What is it for the MACC? He's going to put some trees there that'll eventually block more so the view of the MACC. So what is in there for the MACC? Is it the advisory boards have something to discuss or something to do? They should be working on funding and getting from the city council what they should have done a long time ago. Declare all this property parkland and life goes on. But instead, they want to be dealing with the developer. They even make the presentation for the developer. So I just think that it's a waste of time and an insult to the community. And I just want to say, what can we do is just say no and keep, like I told him a while ago, you may do a vote right now. We have people in higher places, and all it's doing is kind of causing a lot of commotion and a lot of wasted time, where in essence we should be figuring out how to develop the second and third phase of the MACC. I'm just frustrated. Thank you.
There's been so many promises from the city that have never really come through when it comes to the MACC. And I've always wanted to know how we get finished building the MACC. That was my main concern. But it seems like we're the last thing that the city council ever thinks about. I also think about the view, how this building could take away from it. But you know, I see this as an opportunity. You know, and I'm being real honest. I have to think really hard. I'm a very hardcore community person, and I don't like to give property up in the east side very easily. But I think this is an opportunity for the MACC. I have reservations about it, but my gut tells me I want to do the right thing for the MACC. Not for me, for the community to enjoy this facility. I would like to see them enjoy a great view coming in to the MACC. I want to see more people here at the MACC. I do. This is a beautiful building that's not being utilized, and that's the big concern that I have more than anything else. So, also I'm concerned about any events that we have. Will you be assisting with parking if we had a big event, or would you give up any parking spaces, or how could you help some of our events?
But that would give them ownership.
Yeah. It's a big cultural aspect. The importance is culture and history. As we all know, this area has been totally gentrified, and so this is kind of the last straw, is blocking the view of a cultural center that the people in the community have fought for decades before it even became the MACC, when it was Lucha at the Quintanilla House on Cesar Chavez Street. So it's been a long road, about 50 years of trying to work to make that we have our cultural center, that we have something that represents that we are not totally erased from the map of Austin, that we have a culture and a history and a people who have been here for generations. And so if you allow the developer to purchase or use this particular area and then transform it into a so-called pocket park. What you're really using is that you're going to privatize public land, because who is going to really benefit are the new tenants. The new people who are coming into East Austin will say they have their own pocket park now, and then they will totally control it and then decide what they want there. And we've seen it all happen. We've seen it with the master plan at Chicano Park. That was a big fight as to what was happening. We see that in Matapas and the Roy Guerrero Park. Everywhere in East Austin, we see these same fights and these same battles, and we see money being thrown. And sometimes we have to be real careful about money. You might think you're really benefiting, but we're not benefiting. The Mexican-American community, the culture, the history is not going to be benefiting by selling or letting someone use it as a staging area and then develop it as a so-called pocket park. Because we've had discussion of having it as a history center, of having one of the homes moved there. So there's been a lot of discussion of real viable, real things that have to do with the community interest that benefits the community for that particular land. And so I'm going to say that right here, money is the evil. Money is the bad thing. And money can cloud your brain. Money can cloud the board. It can cloud the city because everybody's seeing those dollar signs. When I think humanity and culture and the preservation of our history and our people is more important. And I look at this as a human rights issue because it's bigger than just having the pocket park. We're not saying it, but it is. It's a lot bigger. It's about erasing a whole people and their history.
And he told me about his plan, about what he was going to develop here. And he asked me about my opinion on the 64 rating. And I stated to him that wasn't my plan. I let him know that we spent over 25 years getting the MACC. I mean, it took us 25 years to get a bond of voters to approve the MACC. And we had a history of that. And my vision was that we have a piece of land there that we could use, move one of the historic homes from Rainy Street on that location, and we could use, the MACC could use that facility, that building there, and have it made so that they can have a welcome center there and have a history center about East Side and Rainy, have a history about the MACC, the way, and have the photographs there, and let the artists put their arts on the wall so they could sell it. I mean, we could have all kinds of possibilities there. The house comes with a kitchen. We can fix up the kitchen, and you can have a cafe there where people can, you can sell you can make money for the MACC. I'm working with the staff right now in the city with identifying funds so that we can start making more investment into this location. I mean, we have a possibility. We just been in the city council for 5 months, but we are working, and we're reaching out to, when I heard Gilbert Rivera from Jane Haley's idea about putting a house there, I got all excited. I said, well, I'm going to work with y'all guys, and we're going to make sure that we have these kind of, opportunities so that we could have a house there, and so we won't lose our history. And that's what's more important to me. It took me 25 years and 2 bond elections before we even got the city to okay this. I mean, Martha Cotero worked with me. Emma Barrientos was one of the leaders of this, and she was here today. She'll be letting you know that is not what she had in mind. But I will support that as to convert it to parkland so we will never lose it. But I cannot support, using it as a station area for that.
Question, you keep saying we're never going to build on it. But one of the things we've talked about is the possibility of maybe having an information kiosk or a pavilion or something. And that's building on it in my eyes. So do you mean that, or do you mean something?
The various battles that we had with developers, and it was very difficult to arrive at a conclusion conclusive decision about what we did with 64 Rainy. But I think throughout it was pretty obvious from the people that came before the board and the majority of the board that we did not want to give that up. That was pretty obvious. I'm now a member of the Hispanic Quality of Life Commission, and I've been reappointed, so I'll be there during the next term. And I can tell you that we at the commission have always been interested in the future of the MACC and have expressed support for the community with regards to leaving 64 Rainy vacant. I think that whatever you do with the developers, they will gain more. Regardless of what you call it, if they have any rights to it, development rights, their tenants will be using it more than the people that visit the MACC. I think for me, what is really important is to preserve the view of the MACC. I think there's enough construction going on around the MACC. I feel that the MACC has always been under siege, and I think one of the things that is important is to preserve what we have. And the other thing I need to say, and this may not be very important to y'all, but I think it is, that symbolically this is our last stand with regards to developers in this area. If we lose this, and I would think that we would be losing it if we agree to grant them the right to develop Rainy Street, 64 Rainy, as they wish. I think that will be a symbolic loss. And I'm not the only one that thinks that. That's one of the reasons why we keep coming back. I mean, there are specific reasons. For me, there's a specific reason of providing a full view of the MACC as you come in. But I think there's another reason, the symbolic reason. I think a lot of people keep coming back and speaking so passionately because this is our last stand with regards to developers in this part of the city. And I don't think we can afford to lose that. We've already given up so much. We've had to fight for everything that we have. So that I think you have the responsibility to think this through seriously and preserve what we have.
Talking about that parking lot being ugly and the wall being ugly, but it sounds too ugly. Staging sounds pretty ugly. It sounds like for 2 years you're going to have an ugly spot there anyway. The city of Austin has a neighborhood parking program that gives up to $200,000 for pocket parks, gardens. So there is funding. It's not like it's not available. There is. That's a new program that's been in just for a couple of years, and so they do have a lot of monies. But to me, also, I just wanted to say on the CDBG, you have to remember when that zoning was coming in, it's not that you made it seem like we all were asleep or something, but there's been a long fight. Opposition. There's been a long opposition to rezoning the Rainy Street and so forth. And also, too, we have to remember who lived there. Councilman Bridget Shea brought into that area, and she was leading the CDBG zoning. I just want to let you know that part of it.
I think you could count the ethical issue, the philosophical issue of what has happened to the people that were here. And when you keep talking about the community, you're talking about the community that's not here anymore.
It's just much too complicated, and that's what's the matter with the issues that continue to exist with, within the Latino community, is they make it harder for us to be able to understand.
The outcome of the vote was 4-1 with 2 not here, and that was in favor of what was proposed.
So then, is it going to pass?
It did pass. It passed 4-1.
Thank you.
Actually, it's a victory of sorts. Very big victory, actually, because we started out with no chance that we were ever going to get this lot 64. We were going to get this 30-foot building right next door. And I think that we got the best deal that we could possibly get, being right next door to a big developer. The fact that it will be parkland, the fact that they will maintain it with the city, of course, maintaining ownership. And that the setback, 25 feet setback they asked for, is temporary because the whole thing becomes parkland. So I think all in all, it's a good deal.
So today
Thank
is
you.
a victory?
And yes, and we get We get the park developed right away, and we also get money to update the master plan.
With Kathy Vasquez, she is the founder and owner of La Prensa. Kathy, what are your thoughts about what went on today?
Well, I suppose I'm not surprised, but as usual, I'm disappointed. I think it was very significant that the only person that voted against accepting the developer's proposal was Juan Oyeruides, who has a long history with the Mexican American Cultural Center. He actually was the first executive director of the center once the center was approved in a bond election, and before it was even built. He was in the planning stages of making it happen, and he voted against this tonight. I don't know what this means for the MACC. I just know that the developers have won an important measure tonight to gain a foothold in the circumference of the MACC.
We are being pushed out of the neighborhood, that's all there is, and it's going to continue. There's just no way to stop it.
So what you're saying is that we're even being pushed out of our center
They would love to have the dates that I have right now, also.
because of South by Southwest.
Because I'm doing it during the South by Southwest event. It's like anything else in life. I don't mind sharing my house, but don't take over my house.
And what you're saying is that the Anglo-Americans for South by Southwest are trying to take over the Mexican American Cultural
No,
Center.
we're downtown. This is downtown, without a doubt. I mean, of course, and you can see what's happening in the neighborhood already, and that's not going to change.